Tiffany Henyard actually has two political jobs on two public payrolls. As mayor of South Suburban Dalton, or as she calls herself, Super Mayor.
Don and Scott, the meeting wrapped up early because two trustees, as you mentioned, did not show up. Chris Gonzalez and Carmen Carlisle. Without them, not enough board members were present to make official decisions.
It's hard to think of a political figure more embroiled in controversy than Tiffany Henyard, the embattled mayor of Dalton, Illinois. From corruption allegations to eviction scandals, her name has become synonymous with turmoil in the small village she leads. But just when it seemed the drama couldn't intensify, the FBI has intervened, accusing her of large-scale corruption, leaving residents in shock. And this is only the beginning of her latest troubles.
They find an informant, all which will benefit the investigation tremendously.
But based on what we know now, if you're Tiffany Henyard, how are you feeling?
I would be nervous.
Let's start with the most jaw-dropping revelation. Tiffany Henyard, the so-called super mayor of Dalton, Illinois, is now facing allegations of embezzling millions from public funds. The FBI's investigation has uncovered what they describe as a calculated scheme to funnel taxpayer money into personal accounts and unauthorized expenses. According to sources close to the probe, the sum being mentioned is close to $2 million, an astounding figure for a small village already struggling with severe financial issues. Residents, already frustrated by years of questionable leadership, were blindsided by the scale of the alleged theft. One anonymous official called it a massive breach of public trust, adding, "This isn't just about mismanagement, this is outright theft." Plain and simple, the accusations come at a time when Dalton's finances were already under heavy scrutiny. A preliminary financial report from earlier this year revealed that the village's general fund had dropped from a surplus of over $5 million in 2022 to a deficit of nearly $4 million by mid-2024. Critics have long accused Henyard of reckless spending, but this new twist, allegations that she siphoned public money for personal use, has transformed frustration into full-blown fury. At a recent public meeting, one local resident summed it up: she's supposed to be fixing the streets, not lining her pockets. Meanwhile, calls for her resignation have become increasingly loud, with community members demanding accountability and an end to what many are now calling the Henyard era of corruption.
Very appreciative to receive the information today. We have the best mayor ever. I've been here since 1993. And she's the best we ever had.
You know, you're doing a lot of programs, good programs for, the senior citizens, and you're doing a lot of programs for, people who are on a fixed budget. But what about the people, the blue-collar people who are still carrying this,
Timing of these revelations couldn't be worse for Tiffany Henyard, as they coincide with her bold announcement that she intends to seek re-election. Yes, you read that correctly. Despite being at the center of multiple scandals, Henyard recently declared her intention to run for another term as mayor. However, instead of rallying support, this move has only served to further infuriate her critics. "She has the nerve to ask for our votes while stealing from us," said one Dalton resident during a heated town hall meeting. The announcement has been described as tone-deaf at best, with some even calling it outright delusional. To make matters even more absurd, there's the irony of Henyard's personal financial troubles. While continuing to draw a six-figure salary from her dual roles as both Dalton's mayor and Thornton Township supervisor, she's also facing an eviction lawsuit from her own landlord. According to court documents, Henyard and her boyfriend, Kamal Woods, stopped paying rent on their Dalton home back in August. Their landlord, Jeanette Hall, claims they now owe her thousands of dollars in back rent and late fees. Hall has described the situation as a nightmare, revealing that Henyard and Woods not only failed to pay but also changed the locks on the property to keep her out. "I have nowhere else to turn," Hull said in a recent interview, adding that she fears losing the property to foreclosure due to the unpaid rent.
Tax funds. I think that's the biggest.
Details of the eviction saga have only fueled the fire for Tiffany Henyard's critics. Jeanette Hall, who once considered Henyard a friend, said she reluctantly agreed to rent the home to the mayor in 2021 after being pressured to cancel a lease with another tenant. At the time, Hull believed Henyard would be a reliable tenant, given her prominent position and substantial income, but Hull's trust proved misplaced. When property taxes forced Hull to raise the rent by just $200 earlier this year, Kamal Woods, Henyard's boyfriend, reportedly told her they couldn't afford the increase. Since then, payments have completely stopped, leaving Hull scrambling to cover her own expenses. For someone making over $300,000 a year, this is unacceptable, Hull said. She's supposed to be a leader, but she doesn't even pay her bills. Hull's frustration is echoed by many in Dalton, where residents have grown tired of Henyard's antics. From her lavish spending on taxpayer-funded parties to allegations of mismanagement, the list of grievances against her keeps growing. One of the most outrageous examples came earlier this year when it was revealed that Henyard had spent over PS $33,000 on Amazon purchases using the Village's credit card. The spree included everything from decorative items to what critics described as completely unnecessary luxury goods. She's acting like the Village is her personal piggy bank, said one trustee during a public hearing.
Do not handle anything as relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas? What is that?
No.
It's not just the financial scandals that have people talking. Tiffany Henyard's behavior at public meetings has also sparked widespread criticism over the past year. Her clashes with Dalton trustees have become infamous, with meetings often devolving into shouting matches and walkouts. In one particularly outrageous incident, Henyard called the police on workers who were removing banners with her face on them. The banners, which featured her title of Super Mayor, had been put up without board approval, and the vendor who created them claimed they were owed nearly $20,000 in unpaid bills. When trustees ordered the banners to be taken down, Henyard reportedly demanded that the police arrest the workers, calling the removal theft of government property. Video footage of the incident shows her arguing with officers, saying, "Press charges on them if you have to. Nobody messes with my property." The situation escalated further when Henyard appointed a new police chief without board approval, sparking yet another firestorm. The appointee, Ronald Berg, was found to be inactive according to state law enforcement records, meaning he wasn't legally qualified to serve as chief. Despite this, Henyard insisted on making the appointment, leading to a legal standoff between her and the trustees. The Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board even sent a letter urging Henyard to remove Berg from the position, but she refused. Instead, she doubled down, accusing the trustees of overstepping their authority.
Yep, Ray and Mike, Thornton Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard wanted the Board of Trustees to approve some events that she wants the township to pay for, but none of the trustees showed up for this special meeting tonight. That left the meeting canceled and Henyard with the floor.
These power struggles have left Dalton in a state of near paralysis, with meetings frequently canceled due to lack of quorum and key decisions delayed over legal disputes. Residents are growing increasingly frustrated. "Nothing gets done because it's all about her," said one resident during a recent town hall meeting. "We're paying for her ego while our streets crumble and our schools suffer." As if all of this weren't enough, Henyard has also been accused of using intimidation tactics to silence her critics. In a now infamous 90-minute Facebook Live rant, she threatened to have her political opponents arrested, accusing them of orchestrating a smear campaign against her. "I will be seeking arrests for individuals involved," she said during the broadcast. "I will be pressing charges. It's a lot. And that's just me telling you a little bit." The video quickly went viral and was widely criticized as yet another example of Henyard's erratic behavior. "She's lost touch with reality," one resident commented. "Who threatens to arrest people for disagreeing with them? This isn't a dictatorship."
We've been reporting for nearly 2 years on allegations of corruption surrounding Henyard in her capacity as Dalton Mayor and Thornton Township Supervisor. And now we've learned from multiple sources that federal agents are in fact interviewing witnesses as part of a possible investigation that may or may not result in charges.
The FBI's ongoing investigation into Henyard's administration has only intensified the tension. Federal agents have reportedly seized financial records from both Dalton and Thornton Township, as well as documents related to Henyard's personal spending. While no charges have been filed yet, sources close to the investigation suggest it's only a matter of time. Despite the mounting pressure, Henyard remains defiant. In a recent statement, she dismissed the allegations as politically motivated and vowed to fight back. "I have done nothing wrong," she said. "This is all part of a smear campaign by my opponents who are jealous of my success." She even went as far as to compare herself to former President Donald Trump, claiming she would win re-election in a landslide despite the controversies. "Just like Trump, I'm coming in strong," she said during a public meeting. The people know.
To pay bills, we are not able to handle the bills.
Will they? For many in Dalton, the answer is a resounding no. Residents are fed up with what they view as a never-ending circus, and calls for Henyard's resignation are growing louder by the day. As the drama unfolds, one thing is clear: Tiffany Henyard isn't going down without a fight. Whether it's the eviction lawsuit, the FBI investigation, or the growing backlash from her own community, she's determined to hold on to power at any cost. However, with so many scandals piling up, even her staunchest supporters are beginning to question how much longer she can last. With the next election just months away, the people of Dalton will soon have their say. Will Henyard's bold claims of a re-election landslide come true, or will her scandals finally catch up with her? Only time will tell.
Disturbing to hear these things or to kind of see some of the receipts that appear to be connected to it. And I think the taxpayers really...
Tiffany Henyard's rise to power was not just political, it was strategic, calculated, and many would argue built on a foundation of manipulation disguised as charm. Beneath the polished campaign slogans and promises of progress lies a more complex story of how she maneuvered her way to the top, using every tool at her disposal. For those who have been closely following her career, her current legal and political troubles are less of a surprise and more of an inevitable result of years of unchecked ambition.